Good morning, my SS2 students. Hope you are all enjoying your lockdown holiday, compulsory holiday for you. But I pray very soon we are going to resume back to our normal teaching, one-on-one teaching. So, as we learned last week on convenient foods, our first week topic, convenience foods. And I told you that convenience food is a topic under storage and preservation of foods. And I believe you still remember what we taught on convenience foods, everything I taught you under convenience foods. That convenience foods are foods that are what? Already prepared in their ready-to-use form by the manufacturer. And we looked at the advantages, the disadvantages, and the guidelines for choosing convenience foods. So today, still under storage and preservation of food, we are going to look at storage of perishable and non-perishable foods. So that will lead us to what are perishable foods. Perishable foods are also called high moisture foods. High moisture foods. Foods that their water content is very high. That is the meaning of the moisture. The water content is high. They are called moisture. So perishable foods are also called high moisture foods. And what are these high moisture foods? They are foods which begin to deteriorate. They are foods which begin to deteriorate almost immediately, unless preserved in some ways because of their high water content. There are type of foods that they deteriorate almost immediately if care is not taken. If you didn't preserve them immediately, they deteriorate, they spoil. That is the meaning of deterioration. They spoil easily because of the high water content if you didn't preserve it immediately. And examples of such foods are what? Your milk. If you leave your milk open for hours, what happens? It will taste sour. It will be sour. You won't like the taste any longer. You will, what happened? I just left this milk. I opened it this morning. Just because you didn't keep it in your refrigerator, it will change taste immediately. Your meat, if you buy meat from the market, you didn't preserve it immediately. You leave it in the kitchen, unwashed, without preserving it in the refrigerator or deep freezer. Before you know it, it will start smelling. It will start giving you some foul odor that you will not like. Then we also have seafoods. What are examples of your seafoods? Your fish, and so on. They deteriorate almost immediately because of their high water content. Then many vegetables and fruits. Your green leaf vegetables, your carrots, all your vegetables, they spoil almost immediately. And your fruits, your oranges, your pineapple, watermelon, and so on. If you open them up and you didn't preserve them very well, they deteriorate immediately. They spoil almost immediately after some hours if you don't preserve them very well. Those are perishable foods. Then the non-perishable foods, just the opposite of perishable food. Perishable, then the opposite, non-perishable. They are also called low moisture food. The perishable is called high moisture, while non-perishable is called low moisture. What is the meaning of low moisture? As I told you, high moisture is what? Because of their high water content. Then low moisture will be what? Very little water content, or even some of them does not even have any water content. Very little. So they are also called low moisture foods. And these are foods which can be kept for a reasonable long period without getting spoiled due to their low water content. They are the type of food that can stay for a very long time because of their low water content, low moisture, low water content. So examples of such foods are what? Your nuts, your groundnut, your walnut, all your nuts, cashew nuts, and all your nuts. They are foods that can stay for a very long period of time because they have very little water content in them. Then we also have your what? Your legumes. What are your legumes? Your beans, your soya beans, and so on. They can stay for a very long period of time because of their low water content. Your cereals, your rice, your maize, and so on, they can stay for a longer period because of their low water content. You can see the difference between the two, perishable and non-perishable. One has high water content, can spoil easily. One has low water content, can stay for a very long period. That is that. Then we want to now discuss on how to store them, as the topic implies, storage of what? Perishable and non-perishable foods. So how to store perishable foods? Perishable foods such as fish, meat, perishable foods such as fresh meat and fish can be stored in the what? Freezer. Assuming you are with me, you are the one that's supposed to mention this for me, not me. But as you are not here, perishable foods such as fish, meat, they can be stored in the what? Freezer, deep freezer, not refrigerator. Not refrigerator. They can be stored in your deep freezer. We have one in our kitchen here with us. As you all remember that we have a deep freezer. This is your deep freezer. The upper part is your deep freezer. You store your meat there, not in your refrigerator, because they spoil easily. If you store it in refrigerator, they can still spoil, except you want to use it some few hours, like 2 hours, 3 hours, you can keep it in refrigerator. But if you want to use it next day and so on, you keep it in your deep freezer. Then fruits and vegetables can be stored at the lower part of the refrigerator. Mind you, I didn't say freezer, I said refrigerator, because most of you during practicals, if you bring your fruit for practicals, I used to notice that most of you used to go and keep it in the deep freezer. No, deep freezer will only change the color of your fruits and vegetables. You keep them in your lower part of your refrigerator. Can you see the lower part? Do you all have fridge? Go and open your fridge and check the lower part. Some fridge, they have racks. That is the place you are supposed to keep your fruits and vegetable, inside that white rack in your refrigerator. So fruits and vegetables are to be kept inside the lower part of your refrigerator. Then non-perishable foods. You store only foods that are free from weevils. We mentioned about legumes and cereals are under your non-perishable foods, food with low water content. You store the ones that are free from weevils and insects. Store only foods that are free from weevils and other insects in airtight containers. Then, weevils are small insects. You all know your weevils. Have you ever bought beans or rice in your house and it stayed for a long period of time, maybe like a year or 8 months, 6 months? Go and check such rice. If you have ever had one, they will have small, tiny insects. It is called weevils. They are your weevils. They attack majorly our legumes and our cereals. So, foods that are easily attacked by that, you store them in your what? Airtight containers. Then foods such as beans, maize, soya beans, etc. can be stored for a very long period also. Inside the airtight container, your sacks, you can store them in them. Then, this will now lead us to storage equipment. As the name implies, they are the equipment used in storing food, in keeping food for a longer period. They are the equipment used in keeping food for a longer period, your storage equipment. An example of such facilities or equipment include airtight containers. Airtight containers. Containers that are tight, that are not loose. The covers, the lids are not loose. It is tight so that it will not attract these weevils to come inside it. So you keep them in your airtight container. You can store food in airtight container. You can store your food in refrigerator. I I told you examples of foods you can store in your refrigerator, perishable foods, high moisture foods like your vegetables and fruits. Then you can also store food in deep freezer. I told you example earlier on. Your what? Your meat, your fish, and so on. They are supposed to be stored in your deep freezer. Then cupboards. You can store your food like your cereals in your cupboard. We have example of cupboard also in our kitchen. We have a cupboard in our kitchen. See example of a cupboard. If you have such in your house, you can arrange your containers, airtight containers. After storing your beans, you arrange them shelf by shelf. This is a school cupboard. That is why we don't have rice, beans, and all sorts here. We only use it to keep our utensils. So at home, if you have such cupboard, you can put your beans, your rice, your maize, your millet, your sorghum, and so on inside a airtight container and arrange them so that your kitchen will look very neat and tidy. So we can also use cupboard as a what? As a storage equipment. I won't mention more than that because I want to give you assignment on that. And your assignment is list 5 storage equipment apart from the ones I listed for you. I listed deep freezer, I listed refrigerator, I listed cupboard. I don't want you to list it again. I want you to give me other ones that you can use in storing your foods. Have a nice holiday. Hope we resume soon. I wish to see your face very soon, please. I pray may Almighty Allah make everything to be easy for us. Thank you very much. Bye. Good.